The day the curfew started, my dad told me, stay away from the doors. He said it like I was still a kid, not someone who had to pay the rent if he got sick. But I listened. You could feel it. Something in the air, like before a thunderstorm or a tornado warning. I watched the news on my cracked phone in the kitchen, holding a mug of stale coffee and scrolling Twitter, trying to convince myself the hashtags were overreacting. Then came the tanks, the sirens, the recorded voices saying, "Stay indoors, this is for your safety." Nobody explained why every exit was barricaded. There were soldiers at the highway off-ramps, trucks blocking the roads. Some guy from my old job at Target sent a group chat selfie in front of an armored vehicle, captioned, "Free ride to nowhere." I laughed. Then he stopped texting back. That's how the first week went. Everyone joked. Nobody really believed the army would turn on us. Not here, not in Oak Ridge, Indiana. That's not how America works. Or that's what I thought. We were told not to open our doors for anyone, not even the National Guard. They're here for your protection. But if you looked close, the soldiers didn't look like they wanted to be there. Some wouldn't make eye contact when you waved. Some had tears running down their faces. At night, they'd pound on doors and ask if everyone was accounted for. If you hesitated, they pushed inside. A family 2 buildings over disappeared the first Monday after the fences went up. I watched from my window. No screams, just bags over heads and zip ties on wrists. Quarantine protocol. I started sleeping on the floor, away from the windows. A couple days later, our phones just went dark. The towers went out one by one. I remember it because I was arguing with my sister Katie on FaceTime about whether we should try to make a run for Grandma's place in Ohio. She was just about to say something else. Then her face froze, mouth half open, and the screen glitched to black. I stared at my own reflection, ghost white in the glass, waiting for her to come back. She didn't. My neighbor, Mrs. Carter, started pounding on the walls, yelling for her son. He never answered. After that, nobody talked through the walls anymore. We all went silent. You could hear drones buzz overhead, low and slow, shining lights into backyards. Once I saw a drone drop a little black ball into the next street. It hissed, and white smoke spilled out. Then, nothing. Next morning, the street was empty. That's when the rumors started. Containment, the older folks called it. But even the word was just a mask for fear. My friend Joey came over one night, eyes wide, out of breath. "They're disappearing people, man. You don't see them again. And if you ask, you're next." His hand shook. We taped up all the windows and stuck knives in the doorframes. Not that it would matter. My mom always said, "Don't fight what you can't see." But we tried anyway. One afternoon, I peeked through the blinds and saw a man in a hospital gown stumbling down the street like he was drunk, but faster. He was screaming, "Help me! Somebody, help!" Nobody moved. The soldiers came, tackled him hard, and dragged him off by the arms. They left a dark red streak across the pavement. No one helped. We just watched, paralyzed. You think in these moments you'd be a hero, but you're not. You freeze, and then it's over. The blood washed away in the rain that night. The next morning, the man's face was on a missing flyer stapled to the telephone pole. No one mentioned him again. That's when my group stopped following the rules. There were 5 of us, me, Joey, Mrs. Carter, and the twins, Maya and Lila, from upstairs. We covered the windows, stuffed towels under the doors, and took turns keeping watch. Joey taught us how to kill the cameras the government installed in the halls. Red light means they're watching. No light means you're safe. It felt stupid and pointless, but we needed to do something, anything. Maya found an old aluminum baseball bat in the laundry room and slept with it by her side. Lila learned how to tie a tourniquet, just in case. We all had our roles. Mine was scavenging, sneaking down to the storage units, breaking open vending machines for snacks, sometimes slipping out through the laundry room window if I thought the coast was clear. Every time I opened a door, my heart beat so loud it hurt my ears. I started seeing doors everywhere as threats, not exits. You open one, maybe it's just another empty hallway. Or maybe it's a trap, a soldier, a drone, or something worse. I started dreaming about doors, endless ones, all of them locked or leading to nowhere. I woke up most nights tangled in sweat-soaked sheets, sure someone was about to break through my door and drag me away. So I moved my bed to the closet. It wasn't safe, but it was smaller, easier to defend, or at least easier to pretend it was. We stopped talking about escape. Survival became about lasting one more night, trusting no one, and never opening the door unless you had no other choice. Even then, it was a gamble. I started keeping a list on the back of my hand with a Sharpie. Do not open. Even now, I can see the letters burned into my skin. It's stupid, but I feel safer looking at it. Because if there's one thing the new rules taught me, it's that every door is a trap. And sometimes you can't tell if you're keeping danger out or locking yourself in. You learn to tell time by shadows when there are no clocks and no news. For us, it was always night. Every hour felt like midnight. We stopped opening doors altogether unless we heard the right knock. The code we'd made up, 2 knocks, pause, 3 quick, then 1 more. If it was wrong, we didn't answer. If you messed up, you slept in the stairwell, and you hoped that was all. It started slow. The soldiers became less visible. Then we stopped seeing them at all. Sometimes I'd catch a shape watching us through the cracks in the plywood we'd nailed to the windows. Sometimes just a pale glint, eyes, or a phone screen. One night something slammed against the apartment door so hard the hinges nearly popped. We held our breaths. Maya started crying. Joey mouthed at me, "Don't open," like I needed the reminder. Then the sounds changed. Instead of boots on tile or the bark of orders, it was softer. Something scraped, sniffed, shuffled. Once I heard singing, a woman's voice, gentle, broken. I almost opened the door before Joey yanked me back, his grip tight enough to leave marks. He whispered, "Don't listen. It's not real." Every night we heard doors down the hall burst open. Sometimes people screamed. Sometimes they didn't. The ones who did, you never heard again. The ones who didn't, sometimes you'd see their shadows in the hallway days later, moving strange, too slow, or too fast, faces covered. One time, Maya saw her own mom at the end of the hall, just standing and staring. But Maya's mom had died last year. She didn't talk about it after. She just taped her window up tighter, didn't sleep for 3 nights. That's when we realized what containment really meant. It wasn't to keep something out. It was to keep us in. The danger wasn't on the other side. It was here, and it was spreading. We found out by accident. Joey went missing for 2 days. He left through the fire escape and never came back. Then, on the 3rd night, I heard the code at the door. I hesitated. Lila begged me not to open it, but I did. Joey stood there, pale, smiling too wide, eyes glassy. "You left the door unlocked," he whispered. He came in. He wouldn't sit, wouldn't eat, just stared at the door. I tried to talk to him, but he kept asking weird questions. "Do you ever feel like you're watching yourself from outside?" He kept staring at the back door, scratching at his arm until it bled. That night, he started talking in his sleep. Not words, just names, over and over. Most of them I didn't know. One was my sister's. I started to panic. Maya said, "He's not right." Lila wanted to lock him in the bathroom. Mrs. Carter prayed out loud. But what do you do? He was our friend. That's what containment does. It makes you afraid of the people you love. That's how it wins. The next night, the doors started opening by themselves. Not all at once. Sometimes just a click, sometimes a full swing, with nothing on the other side but cold air. We'd wedge furniture against them, but somehow they always found a way to crack open. One night, the front door was wide open. Joey was gone. So was Mrs. Carter. Lila found a smear of blood on the doorframe, a little gray scrap of something caught in the hinge. We never saw Joey or Mrs. Carter again. We heard them, though, late at night. Their voices mixed in with the others, begging, singing, laughing. Some nights it sounded like everyone I'd ever known was out there just waiting for me to open up and let them in. We ran. We had to. The only way out was down. We pried open the laundry room hatch and slipped into the basement, down into the old sewer tunnels. It smelled like rot and metal and old rain. It was pitch black. Lila had a flashlight, but it flickered. Maya kept whispering, "Don't look back. Don't look back." But you always look back. In those tunnels, we weren't alone. Shapes moved ahead, just outside the light. Sometimes we'd hear whispers, sometimes footsteps. Once, a hand grabbed my ankle in the dark. I kicked free. We found scraps of old backpacks, a broken phone, a baby's shoe, signs of people who'd tried this before. We never saw their faces, only what they left behind. Then we found the old subway platform, abandoned but not empty. Someone had drawn symbols on the walls, words scratched deep, over and over. Don't let them in. Trust no one. Every door is a trap. I felt the panic rise in my chest, the urge to run, but Lila grabbed my hand and squeezed until my knuckles cracked. We make it through. That's it. But even then, as we crouched in the darkness, something didn't add up. I remembered my sister dying, clear as day, blood on the tiles, her hand in mine. But as I looked around, I saw her sitting in the shadows. She smiled, like nothing had happened. "Hey, big bro," she whispered. "What are you so scared of?" For a second, I almost believed we were safe. But in this city, memory is just another door, and every door is a trap. People say you get used to fear. That's not true. You just get tired. We wandered those tunnels until hunger made us brave. Lila's flashlight barely glowed. Maya's voice sounded raw from whispering. The city above kept rumbling, and sometimes we'd hear doors slamming far away, echoing down the pipes. My sister walked with us, smiling, asking questions only I remembered. I didn't dare blink. Eventually, we found a service ladder and climbed up. The metal burned my hands, but I kept going. We popped out behind an old bodega. The air stank of smoke and burnt plastic. The city was on fire. Helicopters circled the skyline, searchlights sweeping over rooftops. We ducked into an alley, sticking close to the walls. The streets were crawling with survivors, all moving in packs. Some carried bats, axes, shovels. Some wore makeshift armor, pots for helmets, bike chains around their waists. Every few blocks you'd see people breaking down doors, pulling others out, sometimes fighting, sometimes hugging. There were no more soldiers. Just us, the desperate. We met up with a group of rebels by the old community center. They were lighting bottles, tossing them over a barricade of office chairs and garbage bins. Someone handed Maya a walkie-talkie, Lila a box of matches. I got a flare gun. The leader, a heavy-set woman with duct tape on her jacket, said, "We take out the checkpoints. That's how we get the truth out. You with us?" We all nodded. I thought of my dad, how he always said the right thing in an emergency, except this was no fire drill. It was the end of normal. We ran with the group, tossing bottles, breaking fences, yelling warnings. Some of us got grabbed. Not all made it. We made it to the main square where a bunch of prisoners were locked in a city bus. Lila smashed a window with a cinder block. Maya helped pull them out. I fired the flare gun straight at a drone. It spun out, crashing in flames. The crowd cheered. But it wasn't all wins. We lost Lila's twin, Maya. She ran ahead, trying to pull a kid from a checkpoint when the doors snapped shut. There was screaming, then silence. The doors wouldn't open again. We tried, God, we tried, but they never opened. Lila knelt, sobbing, clutching Maya's backpack. I promised we'd make her sacrifice matter. We pushed on. Someone grabbed a mic from a patrol car, and Lila, tears streaming, started yelling the truth. "The city's infected! It's in our minds! Don't trust the doors! Don't trust your memories! Stick together!" Others joined in, echoing her words through battered megaphones over every radio we could steal. The message spread. The city started waking up. For a while it worked. People broke down doors together, rescued the trapped, overpowered patrols, took control of the TV station. The outside world got a glimpse, just enough. We saw people outside the city on screens, listening, but as soon as the signal went out, gunfire erupted. I don't know who shot first, but the square turned to chaos. Bodies fell, some of them people we'd just saved. I crawled under a bench, hands over my head, praying for it to end. The truth was out, but not everyone wanted it. Most just wanted safety, no matter what it cost. When dawn finally came, the city was burning. Smoke covered the sun. We gathered on a rooftop, me, Lila, a handful of survivors. We watched as the fires spread and people started climbing out of shattered windows, blinking in the daylight, changed but alive. Some of us were bandaged, others just hollow-eyed, holding on to whatever scraps we had left. Lila squeezed my shoulder. "You did it," she said. I wanted to believe her. Now it's our turn to lead. The rules are different now. We don't hide behind doors. We break them down together. If you're hearing this, wherever you are, don't trust the easy exits or the people who say they're in charge. Stick with those who fight for you, not against you. Remember, every door is a trap, but you don't have to open it alone. If you survived this story, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We tell the truth here, no matter how terrifying. Stay alive and don't open any doors until you know what's waiting on the other side.